Hello there, and welcome to the Music Mentoring Experience. My name is Aaron Wares. I'm a fourth year student on the Commercial Music course at UWS. And today I am joined by Ryan Gatens, a newcomer to UWS in its first year of the Commercial Music course. Say hi.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
Hello. So today we're going to be talking about our first time kind of mentoring experience from both our perspectives. Personally, I come from a live music drum. I'm a drummer, play live music background. It's what I've done for a long time now. It's my main focus in music. I'd also like teaching as well, so this is a good experience for that too. What would you say your background is? It's mostly guitar and
Mostly
stuff, yeah?
electric guitar, a little bit of bass. I love playing in a band. That's why I came here, and then I wanted to learn to produce and all that stuff as well. So.
Oh yeah, that's cool, man. So let's talk a little bit about the first time we met. So I remember the first time being a bit nerve-wracking. I remember everyone in that big room and not knowing who was going to be, what mentee was going to be and what was going to happen. But yeah, it was cool. So I remember coming up and we were told, our similarities and stuff and the songwriting and stuff. I was a little nerve-wracking about when you said the pedal board stuff, because I personally don't know much about the pedal board stuff. So I tried my best to help you with that as I can. But more like the live gigs, the band, and the songwriting is my better stuff. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about that?
When we first was doing it, I was a little terrified because I was like, this is someone I don't know. This is someone who's been here for 4 years. Like, I was like, a little scary.
Yeah.
But then when we started talking, I was like, right, okay, you know what you're talking about. That's like the best part of this, is that I'm talking to someone who knows what they're talking about and that I can ask any questions to, and eventually I felt fine.
Yeah, of course, man. I was really glad that we could have good conversation. I was really worried, a little nervous that it was going to be kind of awkward and stuff, but even after the first time it was really good.
Yeah.
So I remember talking about the course. I remember giving you some advice and stuff like that on the first day. We talked about a lot of stuff on our first session, like our first just time talking together. So it was like your band, and like how you're going with that, as well as your experience in your live performance band on the course you do on the module you're doing just now. And I feel like I could give good advice with that, because I've got lots of experience in playing live gigs and stuff, and we talked about the course a lot, different people, and what you can expect and stuff, and advice. So how did you feel about that first time? Did you feel like you could you just said anyway, you felt like I was pretty, like you could ask me anything.
Once we started talking, I felt perfectly fine. I felt like it felt like a mentor. It felt like someone I could go to and ask if I had any issues with anything.
Yeah, that's cool. It made me feel quite good as well, because I felt like I'm really interested in being a teacher and I'd like to follow that. So it was a good experience to get into that. Yeah. So I do remember a couple of times after that we did struggle to meet up a few times. That was just contradictions with our time, able to get in and stuff. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it would get to the day of, and then we'd be like, wait a minute, we're not gonna be able to do this today.
Yeah, exactly. Like we tried to set up a few songwriting sessions. And then there was one time you forgot your guitar. There was one time I couldn't get a studio time, but I couldn't get studio booked as well. So there was a few rough patches, which was a little difficult. But apart from that, it was really good talking to you, and I'm glad I could help you when I can.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about the pedal board, and I couldn't give you much advice at the time, but I talked to my friend Callum Gibbs, who is also in my class, in my course. And he told me some little brief things about how, weirdly enough, the notes you gave me, the order of the pedal boards you gave me, was actually perfect for you setting it up on the pedal board, which is more or less the most amount of advice I could give you about that.
Fair enough.
But so I remember we did the songwriting session, and we got to that, and that was really good, and I'm really glad that I could help you with that. What did you think about that?
I loved it. It was good fun to actually see kind of a song being built from the ground up. Especially the lyrics part of it, because that's part I've always struggled with, and then seeing it kind of come together in that way, just me and you, it was cool.
Yeah, I'm really glad I could help you with that. I actually have the lyrics here, so we can discuss that in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the kind of advice I was giving you was is taking like an adjective and like a verb or a noun and putting it together and just kind of building off of that. That's something I learned when I was in first year, and I thought it was really useful advice to me. And songwriting is something I also struggle with a little bit, but that's one of the main things that I focus on. And it helps me get pretty grounded, and I'm really glad I could help you with that.
Yeah.
And even on the day, I remember you saying you felt really confident about it afterwards.
Oh yeah, after that I felt like I could definitely have the song put together and we'd be ready to perform it by the next week.
Yeah, I'm really glad. So I've got some lyrics here. They're a little cliche, but that's okay, that's fine. So we ended up following a general theme. So
electricity.
Yeah, the electricity theme. So it was like, think I've just blacked out. Your touch is electricity. You're a light bulb dragging me from misery. I know you think you can flip that switch and just attract me. Well, it's harder than that. You're not going to get me. So I think I remember really enjoying writing that. I had a lot of fun too. Like, it was a really good time. And you used that in your live performance recently, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, so how did that go? How was it?
The live performance as a whole, it went really well. I think the start of the year I was dreading trying to do that live performance at the end because I did not get on with the band that well. We all had different tastes. We all wanted to play different things. It kind of was just all over the place. But over time, talked to you about it, and kind of we talked about compromising and stuff like that. And after that, kind of we started to kind of get a hang of it with each other. We started to kind of get each other more, and eventually it kind of led to us just getting on really well. We became really good friends. We want to continue making music together after all this is done. So it's went really well.
Yeah, see, that's so good to hear, because I remember on our first, I don't know what session it was, one of the first couple of times we were talking, we talked about how chemistry and having being able to connect with the band is so good.
Yeah.
Being able to have that connection and just that chemistry really, really helps the band and helps elevate it a lot. 'Cause I remember saying, like, I remember you saying the genres and stuff, and you guys didn't quite like the same kind of things.
Not
And
at
that's
all.
and then the compromise, I was like, if you can figure out a place to get them both together, and get everything in one kind of solidified genre, you'll it can work. And it sounds like you did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to hear that. And that's something I've also experienced in my own band, that I play live gigs with and stuff. Like, we have got such a good chemistry. We can come in for a practice and end up writing a song out of nowhere. And that's just how we are. We just mend together quite well, and it's really important to have that in a band. And actually, being your mentor has actually helped show me that as well. It showed me how much more effective it was, because I remember you said you were struggling a little bit at the start. You guys couldn't quite get it together, but once you built that chemistry and you built that kind of connection and the compromise, you ended up starting working really well, and you started getting better.
It became so much easier.
Hell yeah, that showed me that as well. What did you think of the overall experience of just like starting brand new at UWS and having a mentor, someone here that's able to help you?
It definitely made it easier. I think having someone who's been here for that long to talk to them about it and like see what their experiences have been like and how it's been for them being there, it made me feel a bit better about just starting out. It made me kind of look forward to what is coming in the future.
Looking back on it, I think a couple things I could work on personally, and being a mentor is, I suppose, having more availability. I think that we did struggle a little bit, being able to get together and get that time where we could meet up on a regular basis, which is something, it's not my fault, it's not your fault, it just happens. These things happen, so I'm glad that we could at the time, but that's definitely something I would want to work on in the future, is being able to have more availability to work with you as well. I also would like to work on being able to support everything that you would need help with, like the pedal board stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know enough about it at the time, but I'm glad I could help you with other things. But I think I should be able to do my own research in that and be able to tell you what I can find and things like that as well.
I do think the fact that you did go out your way to message your friend who obviously plays electric, they know all the stuff about it. The fact you went out your way to message them, that was already extremely helpful just to hear from them as well.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't want to leave you just completely empty-handed. I knew it was something that you asked for help with, and it was in the forum. I think that we did to be for this mentor and mentee process. So I didn't want to leave you completely empty-handed in that, even though it wasn't something I was quite fluent in. Yeah. So I'm glad I could give you at least a little bit of help with that. Yeah, what did you think? Like just looking back on, like, did you find it meaningful, mutually supportive, like practical things like that?
Oh yeah, it made my life here much easier. It made me in the live performance stuff. It made it so much easier to just go in and feel like we're getting somewhere with it. Like, I would take things you said whenever we would talk about it, and I'd be like, right, just compromise. Compromise was the main thing. When you told me about compromise, that was the part that made me think, that might make this about 1,000 times easier.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm really glad I could be helpful like that. So going back to your own band, I know we talked a little bit about how you've got some songs and you've got like a little Instagram page and stuff like that, and you've got some stuff going. I remember telling you that getting a singer and get some lyrics is like the next big step you guys will need, as well as building up that social media. Have you had a chance to do anything like that since we had that conversation about it?
So we've we have been trying to kind of, instead of trying to find a new singer there, we're trying out just doing it with us and seeing if we can make anything work that way. Kind of working, kind of not, but we're seeing how that goes. Social media wise, also we've got everything set up. We've all got access to the accounts now, and the main thing we want to try and get is we want to get a few things planned and then try and build that up on social media and see how that goes. From what you were telling about, like, the TikTok stuff and everything, like, that's where we plan to go with it. Like, just posting things, just promote ourselves and keep doing that. And it's definitely was something I didn't really think about too much before you mentioned it.
Oh yeah, it's super important. It's super important to stay up to date on stuff like that, because especially TikTok, where you can post one random meme thing, like some joke that you make about yourselves in the band, or just some sound, and it can blow up and can give you so much publicity from it, and get your band. Like we had a TikTok get to like 1,000 likes, and I think it was once or twice we had that happen, and it's like, wow, 1,000 people have like seen us and been like, oh, that's a band. Like, you know, it's kind of weird to think about. And our Instagram only has like 600 followers or something like that, you know. So it's definitely a super important thing, and I remember telling you about that. Yeah, 100%. I remember we at the very beginning we also talked about our the short, middle, and long-term goals that you wanted to achieve. I should probably definitely talk about this.
That may be a good idea.
Yeah, that may be a good idea. I remember the short term, we discussed about the short term being helping you with lyrics and the songwriting. I'd like to think I've helped you achieve that.
It's kind of, it's opened my eyes.
Open your eyes, yeah. Yeah, so like with the lyrics and the songwriting, like just following a theme and using that adjective and verb and noun thing that I learned all the way back from my lecturer Stu in first year. And that stuck with me ever since. So, and even information like that, like so far back now for me, is still something I retain. So hopefully I can do the same thing for you, I should say. The middle term was building up your band more. I like to think I've given you some advice towards that. I don't know if I can necessarily. It's not something that's going to happen overnight or in a few weeks. It's got something that's going to take a decent amount of time.
You've helped me understand kind of how I can maybe go about that.
Yeah, like what you need to do and stuff. Yeah. I'm glad I could help you there. And then the long term, I think it was we discussed it was playing live gigs consistently. I remember talking to you about how you can go around getting live gigs. Do you remember what I said?
No,
that's okay. That's okay. If it hasn't stuck with you quite well, I can just remind you right now. So it's It's basically once you get your Instagram page up, you got some photos, get some photography done, and you've got some, a decent set list of music ready to go. You can start messaging some promoters and stuff and people who run gigs and say, hey, look, we're a new upcoming band. We want to prove ourselves. If you've got any slots open for us to play, like, would that be all right? Like, that's how we started it back in 2019, 2020. We were all 17 years old, playing in Broadcaster in Glasgow on Tuckey Street. So. We've come a long way from then, but it was our first couple gigs, and it was really good to get that, and it was already quite a momentum we were building up until COVID and all that stuff happened, but that's not important right now. But yeah, so it's definitely one of the ways to get live gigs consistently, and people will ask all the time, how do you get gigs, like how does it happen? And that's how it happens. You just build connections, you talk to people in the music industry, and that's the main way anyway that's worked for us so far. So yeah. Looking back on the whole journey and the process, I really enjoyed it. I really liked being able to mentor somebody and be able to help out somebody who needs help and be able to give you advice. I always like doing that. I've always like the S6, S1 buddy that you would have in secondary school. Like I liked doing that at the time as well. It was something I was interested in. I've helped out in like secondary school classes and stuff and helped like students like in music and stuff, and it's always been something I'm interested in. So this module and this part of the course has been really interesting to me, and be able to help somebody else. I'm assuming it's been really helpful for you. I mean, you've said that already, but
I've really enjoyed it, and it's also gave me another band to listen to. So
thank you very much.
Definitely not complaining.
I think that's all for now. Thank you very much for coming on with me and doing this short little podcast with me.
Thank you for asking me to do it.
Of course. It's been really good. It's been great working with you. I hope I've been able to be useful and helpful in your education and then your career in music. So thank you very much.
Thank you.